Hello, everyone. Good day to you, wherever you're joining me from. This is Word for Word Talk or Health Word View, whichever depending on where you're watching me from, really. I saw this today, right now, and I wanted to just share this. I have actually made a video already uh, um, about the insight into Harry's situation, Prince Harry, the court case that he has. People kind of talk more about it extensively. I made that yesterday, but this morning I saw this. It's still regarding yesterday court case, but I just felt the way this guy talked about it was just too sincere and true. You know, sometimes when you hear some news or reporters want to put some things out there, or some of the commentators or those who want to analyze or whatever, or those who say, well, I have always been in the royal family, I have been their photographer, I have been this and that. When some of them come, they come with such bias, you know, they already, what side they are on, well, either way, you know. But when someone come, just be sincere and say, well, this side is wrong. This person is wrong here too. Both sides, this is what they should have done better. This is what they should have done better. I prefer that to just always on one, this is it. You know, you should be able to say, well, I actually side this person, or I like this set of people, but this, what they have done, I don't really like this one, you know. But anyway, to cut the long story short, this court case, thank God, Harry is brave. That's what I could say, or I would always say. He's brave, he's determined, because he knows where he has hurt him, you know, the tabloid. He knows what has happened to his life because of all of this. I listened to someone, Philip Schofield, who had an issue with the press, in his workplace, and left because of the situation, which I don't want to go into right now, which he was involved in. And he came out to say on one of his interview that he thought of just ending it. If it wasn't for his daughters, he don't know where he would have been by now. And that is just for about a week, maybe a week and a half maximum. 2 weeks. I don't know. It's not even up to 2 weeks at all. His own case. It's because when you turn to go online, it says about him. When you look at television, it's about him. When you look at the papers, it's about him. It was too much for him. That was just for less than 2 weeks. Can you imagine? And when I heard that, I'm thinking, wow. Can you imagine someone that has been on it for years? You know, I mean, it's just too much. And he has the money, because nobody can actually take them on, as they say, because they're very powerful, they have money. But when someone who has money can at least challenge it, at least start something, you know, somebody else might take it further from him. At least he has opened the way that this can be done. If you have money, this can be done. If you have money, you have status, you can take this on, you know. So some of the things that were done to them some of the things that they alleged was some of the information about him that was obtained illegally, in a criminal way. Listen for yourself, and you'll be able to just make your conclusion. Leave us a comment what you think after hearing this man speak.
Prince Harry arrived at the High Court this morning just after 9:30 to a sea of waiting press and a chopper circling above. The scene was set for an historic, dramatic courtroom showdown. At the heart of it, these stories from Mirror Group newspapers from 1996 to 2011. Prince Harry alleges the private information splashed over the pages came from journalists who use illegal methods to get exclusives. The publisher denies this. Once Harry was sworn in at around 10:30, his witness statement dropped, and the 49 pages were explosive. He didn't hold back, writing,
"The tabloids have known the challenges and mental health struggles that I've had to deal with throughout my childhood and adult life. And for them to then play on that and use it to their own advantage, I think is, well, criminal."
He went on to say,
Trolls react and mobilise to stories they create. People have died as a result. How much more blood will stain their typing fingers before someone can put a stop to this madness?
Elsewhere, he said the thought of former Daily Mirror editor Piers Morgan earwigging his mother's messages made him physically sick, and also took a swipe at the government, claiming both they and the press are at rock bottom. Inside the courtroom was a quieter affair, but in one feisty exchange, Prince Harry said he believed a story about his 18th birthday party was connected to payments to private investigators. And so what? Replied Mirror Group newspaper's barrister Andrew Green KC. Prince Harry said the timing was suspicious. And so what? Repeated Green. Prince Harry then said giving an initial interview had been enough to incentivise unlawful activity. Now, throughout Prince Harry's time on the stand, he spoke in a calm and measured way and in hushed tones. Even at one point, he was asked to speak up, and he didn't. Throughout the whole day today, they're going through these 33 articles that Prince Harry is complaining about. Mirror Group newspapers have said that these were collected in legal ways, meaning that someone around Prince Harry must have talked. Prince Harry disputes that and says they were collected through illegal means. Neither side appeared to land a knockout blow today, but the onus is still on Prince Harry to prove his case and convince the judge.
He needs to show he can stand up to a KC, and he has to, by the way, prove that these articles were acquired, the information in them was acquired through nefarious, illegal means. That essentially means he can't just be a sort of, a wall of emotion and pain. He has to deliver more than that, and it does help, of course, if you speak with sincerity, if you speak slowly, clearly and convincingly, and I think he's doing his very best.
It was coming up to 5 when Prince Harry emerged from court straight into a waiting car. He'll be back again tomorrow when the case will pick up where it left off, focusing on his relationship with former girlfriend Chelsea Davy. Yet more uncomfortable questions in the battle which the prince has chosen to make his life's work.
I should tell there, well, earlier I spoke to Alan Rusbridger, the former editor-in-chief of The Guardian, and asked him who has more to lose in this High Court battle, Prince Harry or the newspapers?
Well, the risk for Prince Harry is twofold. One that he loses, that the judge is not persuaded, and the second is that he's awarded less than he would have been if he'd been offered an out-of-court settlement. I don't know if he has been. But I think he is determined, and when you hear his evidence today, you can see 20 or 30 years of bitter hurt and betrayal in his view. And I think he thinks that it's about time that somebody got those responsible into court, and that the whole truth as he would see it is heard. And so far, both the News Group newspapers and Mirror Group newspapers have spent tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions, in settling claims so that they don't get into court. And it really needed one person like Harry, and he's probably the only person really rich enough and powerful enough to insist that all was heard in court.
I mean, Prince Harry is framing this very much as a battle against what he sees as corruption in journalism. He says journalism needs to be saved. Our country is judged globally by the state of our press, and it is at rock bottom. Is he right to any degree?
Well, journalism was in a terrible state. Of that, there is no doubt. There was widespread criminality in the British press, especially in the tabloid press. All that was supposed to be examined in the second part of the Leveson inquiry. The first part looked at the general ethics of the press, and the second part was supposed to look into the criminal behaviour that had been going on. That, as we know, was killed off with intensive lobbying from the newspapers. So this is the first chance really to have all this ventilated in court.
You can sense the hurt that he has carried with him and the anger against the tabloids. But him ventilating all of that in a public court, what is the potential damage to the newspapers or to the tabloids?
Well, if it was proved by the court or accepted by the court that Harry and others were hacked and their privacy was illegally intruded into, that is potentially a very serious matter for the newspapers, not only in financial terms, because they're going to have to pay up a lot of compensation to not only Harry, but a lot of people. It's damaging reputationally for newspapers who are struggling, we all know, in the age of Google and Facebook. And potentially it opens up the possibility of criminal charges against the people and editors and senior managers involved.
Do you think, it presages the demise of the tabloids, though? Because there is an argument that outside of what many people regard as tittle-tattle or gossip, the tabloids can still hold power to account.
Tabloid journalism at its best is fantastic. It's powerful, it's necessary. It's what ordinary people read, and it can do a brilliant job in, as you say, holding people to account in a very approachable, often very powerful way. But in the tabloids' own telling of this was a really grim period where some papers were out of control, and the only way they were getting these award-winning stories was by using criminal means and employing not journalists, but employing private detectives to inquire into people's utmost private lives. So nobody wants to see those days come back. The only question is whether there needs to be some form of accounting. I think if this was another industry, if we were talking about the car industry or the oil industry or the banking industry, there would be no question that people would want to get to the bottom of it and see who was responsible.
Alan Rusbridger, thank you very much for talking to us.
So you see for yourself, hallelujah, you see for yourself what this gentleman has just said. Some of this information was obtained illegally, according to what he has just said. And really, if it was other firm or companies, you want to know the bottom, you want to actually who did what, when was it done, who paid who was involved, all this will come out. So, but because the media has power to lobby and to pay people off, they kind of push it aside, so it's not as important as it should be. So I actually just commend this Harry for doing what he's doing. I commend him 100% that he's able to stand up to this. If he was still in the palace, they say, well, he's in the palace and he's coming from the palace, and yes, it's still part of the palace. It's always going to be royal all his life. But taking this on, it's amazing. It's amazing to say the least. We know John Elty is one of them, and a couple other people that have cases against this tabloid right in the UK. So what are your thoughts? Haven't heard this man. You heard what he said. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts? Leave us a comment. And if you have a voice, you have somewhere you can speak up, please to speak up about us. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Click the notification button so that when we're on, you'll be one of the first people to be notified. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to be bringing you as much as I can lay hold of something that is just different from what I have, what I have talked about, or so a different view regarding this case. I'm going to bring it on. I don't know, maybe twice or whatever. I'm going to bring it on as much as I can, because this needs to really go as much. Many people need to hear this and just know what is going on, because they use this to create a reputation for people that are not theirs. You telling my life story better than I know myself. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. What he wants private is what he wants private. What he wants public is what he wants public. His life, himself, So he should tell his story the way he should. And if anyone have to tell this story, tell it well, tell it right. If it's wrong, tell it nicely, obtain it nicely, and obtain his maybe his story in the right way. Don't use all kind of means to obtain it and then make money out of it and then settle people because you're wrong. If you're not wrong, why settle thousands of people, hundreds of people? How do I do that? Harry didn't want to take settlement. He would have done that, because if I hear one of the news outlet I heard a few months ago that his brother did, you know, they alleged that his brother did settle. He settled with this tabloids, you know. So some people settle, some people refuse to settle. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.